because I call it halftime, I feel like it's only right that we just go back and just like recap, you know what I'm saying, some of the bigger moments from the beginning. You heard it's already on the Supreme Court docket. That is interesting if it's moving that fast. We're gonna see. So let's remember back. We got to reflect back so we can see the totality of this. But I do kind of think that the way this Woody thing is going, the way that this Kenneth Copeland thing is going, it almost don't even matter what happened before now, because without this, without Woody's part going forward and them getting the proper information that they need from him, it really does not matter. So the first thing that went crazy, I don't know if y'all were watching since the very beginning. Remember, when I say very beginning, I mean from when trial started. The opening statements happen, right? And they start out with the state is like trying to use this PowerPoint. And then the state gets, and the defense is objecting crazy. And the state starts getting into like little graphics and little pieces in this PowerPoint that the defense is saying, hey, that's not in the PowerPoint that they gave us. That's not, y'all didn't give us that. So they had to stop court, right? They had to stop the trial, send the jury to the back, and they argued about this PowerPoint. Now, this is on day one of the trial. They argued about a PowerPoint because if y'all remember, the judge, like the week before trial started, the judge ordered the state to give everything, all media, all evidence, all paperwork, all everything that you have that you plan on using in this trial, give everything to the defense. Don't hold anything back. That's a court order. Give them everything. Monday came, the trial was starting. They did not give them everything. They actually left whatever they felt like leaving out, and they just didn't hand it over, right? So then the defense is like, hey, judge, you ordered us to do something. The state just straight up said, we don't feel like it, and just didn't do it. And they're not being punished. And actually, Glanville tried to punish everybody. Glanville said, okay, well, nobody can use a PowerPoint at all in the opening argument. Then the defense is like, hey, why are we being punished? Because the state did something wrong. All of us turned our stuff over. It's the state that didn't do what they were supposed to do. So then, just like Glanville, he don't stand on nothing. He just said, all right, well, look, y'all spend lunchtime. Y'all spend some time. I want y'all to go through these PowerPoints and figure out what to keep in and what to take out. And they took like 4 hours out of court on the first day during opening arguments to do that, right? So from day one, this thing started out extremely biased in the state's favor. They got chance after chance after chance to not follow the judge's orders to turn over things to the defense, right? Now let's see what Tony said. From what I heard yesterday was the prosecutor who was original on it was white and asked by Fonnie to let the black prosecutors go after YSL, and the white attorney got upset and took his work. Oh, is that what happened? Oh, that's why the state had some stuff missing. And the judge was trying to buy the state time, allegedly. Whoa, I didn't hear about that. I didn't know that part. But that is crazy. Some of these cases, you know, it is a political thing. It is about optics. So they would rather, we don't want a white person going after no rappers because that's going to look away in Atlanta. That's interesting. I didn't hear about that. Ron said the defense have shown that they have the right to challenge the judge in the event the judge committed a specific act. That's a fact. They didn't have it from my understanding. So that's how the thing started out. It went like that. And then the first witness that we get on the stand after opening argument was Detective Belknap. And he's up there as an expert witness. So he comes in there, tells the jury, hey, I know this much about gangs because I've been working there. I've traveled over here, took courses about gangs. You know what I'm saying? I know all that. Look, this is how you throw up a B. This is how you throw up a C. This is how you throw up a CK. This is how you throw up a BK. You know, he was doing all of that, showing them with his hands, like how to throw up gang signs. So he went on about being an expert, and the defense actually decided we're not even about to cross-examine him. They just get him off the stand, get him up out of here, let the jury forget about him. Now, that would have worked had we not got to another major moment in the trial. So then from there, after Belknap, then I felt like we just started seeing a bunch of witnesses that just was frivolous for no reason, right? So you got a lady who got her car stolen as she was leaving a nightclub. but she was in Noonan. So she got her car stolen. Nobody in this trial, nobody in this case stole her car. But because where the police found the car at, because I think Travia Stevens was there at the apartment complex that they found the car at, then they able to connect that stolen car thing somehow to Travia Stevens because they found a gun on him that day. He flashed the gun at the police officers, all that. So this is all a whole bunch of bullcrap. So then we get to the point where the first major moment in this trial is when Travia Stevens gets up on the stand. And that's pretty much where a lot of people who watch this channel now is where you probably discovered the channels, because I think I kind of influenced the way a lot of people started talking about this trial after that, because I was getting just like a few views. I only had like 100 or 200 subscribers on the channel at that time. And then I put this one video up about Travia Stevens being a genius of how he was testifying. And then it got 50,000 views in like 3 days. You see what I'm saying? And then from there, you started to see a lot of breakdowns about these testimonies that looked a lot similar. Even some people even like copying word for word some of the exact same thing I was saying. That wasn't like fact-based. It was just like opinion-based stuff. But whatever, that's fine. I love it. So, and I told people back then, I said, if Travia Stevens is any indication of what the rest of these guys who took plea deals is about to do, the state is in for a long trial. I said that back then, and it was facts. Everybody else who was in the streets who came after Travia Stevens testified exactly like him. They don't remember nothing. They don't know when they met people. They don't know who that is. Oh, you got to tell me his street name. Oh, okay, I know who that is a little bit. We kind of know each other. Then you got a million pictures with the person, but I don't really know him like that. I don't know how old I was. I don't remember dates. I'm not good with time. I'm not good at math. I can't really read that good. Like pretty much everybody after that did this. They played the same game that Travia Stevens played. They don't remember nothing. They don't know why they said something that they previously said. Just all of that. So, one of the cold parts that messed up the state too, when the state asked him, hey, who was in the rock crew? Like, look around the courtroom. Tell me who was in the rock crew. He was like, nobody in here was in the rock crew. They're like, you sure nobody in here was in the rock crew? They're like, yeah, nobody was in the rock crew because nobody in here was raised on Cleveland. And to be in the rock crew, you have to be raised on Cleveland. So the state didn't like that. They definitely didn't like it because part of their opening argument was these guys grew up in the rock crew and then they branched off after a dispute and started YSL, and they kept a lot of the affiliations that they had when they were in the rock crew. But then Travia Stevens, somebody who was there from day one, says, these guys in here can't be part of the rock crew. It's impossible. They have to be from there, and they're not from there. Not even Young Thug is from there originally. He wasn't born and raised on Cleveland. He moved there later on. So that was one of the earlier things that messed him up. Travia Stevens is brilliant. That's one of those ones that I feel like if you don't remember his testimony, just go back and just watch his. And I went to Law and Crime, like the main Law and Crime page. It looked like they removed all of the YSL trial videos. If y'all can find it, let me know. But the early videos, I couldn't find them on Law and Crime. I had to go to 11 Alive and all that to see it. So then what comes up after, so now, like I said, we're going through the highlights because I feel like we're at halftime. What comes up after Travia Stevens, or shortly after, is now the state is saying, we're about to bring Belknap back up here. And that caused a big thing because now the defense is saying, whoa, what you mean you calling him back up here? You already used him as an expert witness. Why is he coming back up now to be an expert witness again? This is unprecedented in the history of Georgia law, right? This has never happened. It has happened before when a witness has been used as a dual purpose witness, which is a fact witness and an expert witness, but it has never happened to where a witness is being used multiple times as an expert witness to pretty much impeach people. So like, all right, so I bring our expert in here. He says, hey, gangs are XYZ. Then we bring like a supposed gang member in here. The gang member lies. And then we're going to bring this expert witness back in to tell the jury about all the lies the gang member told. And we're going to do that for every person that lies in here, right? So that was a huge argument. They argued about that for days. And so the judge eventually said, I'm going to allow him to be used that way. But if the state continuously calls him for that purpose, then I'm going to stop it. But for now, if he's just coming back one time, like I'll allow that. So that was major. And that's one of those things that's like groundbreaking in the state, right? Because you can just use expert witnesses as Max Shard said, as a chorus to the song. So you have your expert started out, then you have some witness go testify, then you bring your expert back, and the jury is going to remember what the expert said because they done heard the expert say it 5-10 times throughout trial. Okay, boom. So now after Belknap gets up there, I'm thinking Belknap is going to be more impactful as a witness this next time around. But the defense did not decline to cross-examine him this time. This time they went at him. And they made him look like a liar. They made him look racist. They made him look like he had a vendetta against black men that had money. So his testimony that second time around completely fell flat. And I think that's also why the state hasn't called him back. And it's been about how many months now? About 4 or 5 months now they haven't, or whatever. It's been months since they called him back, and we done heard plenty of people get up there and lie, and they didn't bring him back to testify anymore. So I think it fell flat, and I think the defense cross-examining him that second time around was bravo. Good job, team. Now, after that, then they get into the crazy September 11th robbery, car accident, shooting incident that happens with these guys in his car where this is where the cop comes to say they tried to hit me with the car, so I started shooting. And this is where Adrian Bean is, saying all type of stuff. He's saying Young Thug was with him, but nobody else seen Young Thug. The police thought they saw a woman run off. The police never seen Young Thug. Nobody ever seen Young Thug there. Only Adrian Bean was saying that. Like, not even the police officer seen Young Thug, right? And I feel like in that area, in the Cleveland Ave area, in 2013, in September of 2013, the police would have known him at that time. He would have been like lightweight famous a little bit. Not super famous, but he was bubbling. He was making music. He was bubbling a little bit. So they would have known if they seen this dude jump out the car and run down the street or hop over a 10-foot gate and all that, they would have known. They was like, that's a Young Thug right there. But nobody else seen him. Nobody else could say that, and it was only Adrian Bean saying that. So that was crazy. He was embarrassed. Adrian Bean he was embarrassed by all the telling that he was doing on the jail calls and in the interrogation room and all that type of stuff. He was talking a lot. But he also was found out to be lying terribly. He was lying bad too. But, and then it came out that he actually got fired from his job for being up there testifying and for having that type of criminal past. So that was a big thing where he got fired. That was crazy. Like Bean lost it in the courtroom. And again, y'all, we just doing a recap right now so we can make sure we remember what has happened in this trial. It has been a very crazy and eventful trial. And we're just going back recapping. We're going back recapping. Let me see what the people saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we're going to come back to that because y'all said a lot. Yeah, please, let's get the likes up. Get the likes and subscribes up, people. Please. So, after Adrian Bean gets out of there, then we get Detective Quinn. Detective Quinn is all Hollywood now because he's doing the Atlanta homicide thing. I just seen they announced another new show. Him and Velasquez, they have another new show together that's coming out, or a documentary or something, where they're talking about murders again. So he comes up there, gives his whole thing like, yo, when somebody tells me something, I don't just go make arrest. I need multiple people to say it. So when Adrian Bean told me Young Thug was there, I couldn't take his word for it. So he's like, yeah, I was working at Neiman Marcus and Young Thug walked in and he tried to hire me, but I told him no thank you, or whatever the situation was. It was very mafia, very mob movie type stuff. He was like, yeah, he tried to hire me. I seen him again. Him and DK had a stack of money. So like I said, Young Thug at that time was buzzing, definitely in Atlanta, but in the South for sure. So if he had done what Adrian Bean was saying, he was there, somebody would have been like, that's Young Thug right there. That's running, that just jumped over that fence. That's him. Somebody would have seen him and said that. So I don't know. Quinn went through the whole thing and essentially, a lot of these guys got in trouble, but they didn't do a long time in jail because I forget what happened that made them drop that case. I think it was because of a discrepancy between the story that the police was telling versus the facts of the case. The cop that actually shot them. The facts of the case didn't really match up. And I guess they probably didn't want to probe too much into it because then they would have to look at Robeson L., who actually shot the gun and was probably lying about why he shot the gun. And it looks like you just shot a bunch of people for no reason, right? So That happens. Then we move on and we get into the Dexter Montgomery shooting. This was another big one because it's like now we seeing OG Bentley calling people on the phone saying, hey, I'm scared. I think they about to do something to me. I don't know what's going on. They followed me to the gas station. Like, I need y'all to come up. So he calls Nard and DK. They come up to the gas station. They come up to the gas station and all that. And then, the DK and them, they scare to get the car off. And then, they get down the street or whatever. And according to DK and the guys, Nard shoots at the vehicle, hitting Dexter Montgomery in the head, knocking half his skull off his dome, which they showed the picture. And I put the picture up there too. And it was crazy how much of his skull was missing and how he survived that. But that was a very eventful couple weeks where they was talking about the Dexter Montgomery thing. Dexter Montgomery actually is still alive today. He actually testified. They did not show him to us, but I guess he had a hat on or something. He took it off and showed the jury his head. I'm assuming by now he got metal plates in his head to cover up, the what's missing of his skull. But yeah, that was a crazy one. They brought D'Angelo White in there, and he was not trying to testify at all. He was in jail for 7 years for a murder. He wasn't trying to testify at all. Like, he was mad that they had him there. He was mad that everybody had to listen to his old recordings with Gaither in the car and Dennis, they had to listen to him in the car with Gaither where he was telling them what happened, and he asked them for $20 to tell. And Gaither went off on him a little bit. D'Angelo White was an eventful testimony because he kind of was trying to answer questions. Then sometimes he would realize whoa, that's snitching, so I don't want to answer it. So yeah, he was like, man, send me back to jail. I don't want to do this. So that was a crazy one. Then after that, Walter Murphy, DK, another major witness in this trial, another thing, what they did to DK and what they did to Travia Stevens. When they got to answering questions with the whole, I don't know what that is, and this is not a gang and all that, the prosecutors would pull out their plea agreements and read it in front of the jury and say, don't you remember agreeing to this? Don't you remember that you said this? And don't you remember what you said, what we said would happen and what you agreed to would happen if you don't testify truthfully? Do you know that you can be given back your sentence up to the full amount? So they pretty much was threatening them. You know what I'm saying? They pretty much was threatening the people and telling them yo, because you took a plea deal, you definitely gonna testify the way we want you to testify. So Walter Murphy gets up there and there's no difference. He's trying to act like he don't know what these gangs are. He don't know what's going on. And they said, look, bring his plea agreement, please. We're gonna read this and we're gonna make sure he knows what he agreed to when he took this deal. Walter Murphy was an interesting one, but he was up there and he let it be known he had a job. And I said at the time, he has to be an extremely charismatic person because you could see the energy he gave off when he was on the stand. He was able to keep his job after multiple times of being locked up. I've been working this job for years. And he just got out from a RICO case. They saying he's shooting at people, doing all type of stuff, and they still let him keep his job. So he's a likable guy. The people that know him like him. So his testimony went a little bit different. He was actually answering some of the questions. You feel what I'm saying? So if you call him what you want to call him, but he was answering some of those questions. And then we get, we had Gaither and Dennis. Gaither is the one who went off and said, y'all trying to act like YSL didn't shoot this boy in the head. That was Gaither. And, it's Gaither and Dennis I felt like Gaither was a little bit more, she let her bias show a lot more, especially when it came out how she canceled the meeting with Brian Steele. She didn't want to talk to the defense at all. She for sure exposed her bias. I don't know how the jury would take that, but she definitely exposed her bias. And we just moving along because then we got forward and we seen Brian Steele has been battling with the judge and Attorney Love this whole time. He's been going directly at them. He's been saying Attorney Love keeps on making stuff up. She's lying on me. She keep on telling the jury that I'm doing stuff that I'm not doing. She keep telling the court that I'm doing stuff. I'm altering evidence and all type of stuff. And he telling Glanville, hey, you're wrong. Glanville's like, how did you find out about that meeting? Still is like, you should have told me about the meeting. And I said this on Twitter the other day, and I need people to realize this. Brian Steele does not look up to Glanville the way the rest of the attorneys in this court look up to him, right? They're probably around the same age. Steele and Glanville are peers. They just took two different routes. Yeah, you're a judge and you have power over a lot of these cases, but if I'm talking like I'm Brian Steele, I don't look at you like the rest of them look at you. You're not my OG. I'm the OG around here. That's what Brian Steele is looking at it like. I'm everybody in this courtroom OG. That's how Brian Steele is looking at it. They all look up to me too. They look up to you. They look up to me too. I'm the guy that's bringing all these young attorneys in here, and I'm turning them into young sharks, young pit bulls. I'm the Rottweiler from back in the day. You know me. My name is on a lot of cases around here. 300 appeals under my belt. Boy, not boy. Whoa, not boy. My bad. My name is on 300 appeals in this state. You understand what I'm saying? I done studied law. I've been doing this for 33 years. I know what's going on around here. So I'm not scared to say whatever. And matter of fact, when you try to threaten to lock me up to scare me into saying so, I don't care. Lock me up. And matter of fact, yeah, my bad. Not boy. That was crazy. You threaten to lock me up. Matter of fact, my only request to you is that you let me be cellies with my client. Me and Young Thug gonna be cellies, matter of fact, because you want to lock me up. Since you think you about to lock me up, I'm gonna be cellies with Young Thug then, because I'm not telling you nothing, and I don't care what you say. I don't have to tell you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. No, Glanville don't have the type of money that's still, but that's what I'm saying. They peers, they just took two different routes. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about it. When they probably was going through law school around the same time, and then Glanville said, I want to go to the judge route. I want to be on the path to eventually become a judge. Brian Steele is like, I'm about to get millions of dollars from criminals. You know what I'm saying? They're peers. They just took two different routes. You understand what I'm saying? So Steele is like, nah, y'all not, and Steele is setting a precedent for these young lawyers. Like, you don't let a judge bully you. If you know the law, you cannot. You don't have to let a judge bully you. If they threaten to lock you up, you still don't acquiesce. You let it be known. You let it be known. I'm not standing down about nothing. I'm gonna defend my client to the end. I don't care what you say up in here. You could threaten me with anything. And he told him, hey, bailiff, get him up out my courtroom. Brian Steele took his shoes and his jacket and his tie off. Let's get it. How many lawyers he didn't put up a fight. Yeah, Glanville was a military JAG lawyer. He still is as a reservist, I think, because he still does he still handles some military court right now to this day. How many lawyers they're going to say, yo, I'm about to lock you up. He didn't put up a fight at all. He said, let me be cellies with my client so we can work on the case. Think about what we talk about here. Still is like, I'm going to work on the case while I'm locked up for contempt. We going out like, that's how we going out. That's how we going to handle this one, Glanville, because I'm not scared of you. And guess what? You threaten to lock me up. Now 25 lawyers is outside your courtroom ready to defend me now. You threaten to lock me up. Guess what? My wife is also a top dog attorney. She got my appeal in before the day is even over. Don't even worry about it. Guess what? You threaten to lock me up, I'm a big dog. The Supreme Court ain't letting this go to the appeal court. The Supreme Court is going to take my case immediately because I'm like that for real. That's what Brian Steele is establishing. I'm really like that. I'm not playing around. I have the biggest clients in the state. I'm going to get my stuff off. I'm going to say what I need to say on the record, in front of the court, in front of the cameras. You're going to listen to me. And I don't care how many times you tell me to stop talking. Tell them to stop talking because I'm going to finish what I'm saying. Y'all got to understand being able to afford a lawyer like that, that's just not going to back down from a judge, even when a judge is threatening to lock them up. If you have a lawyer that other lawyers respect, if you have a lawyer that is maybe friends or peers with people in high places like Supreme Court judges and Supreme Court people that, you know what I mean? Like, that's the real like what if you playing around in street business and all that and you need money to be able to afford lawyers like that. Not just lawyer money. You need lawyers with those type of connections. That's what you're really paying for. You're paying to have a lawyer that you're paying to have a lawyer that will have 25 lawyers come down to defend them if their rights are being violated. That's what you pay. That's what them high tickets is for. So if you're paying for a $5,000 lawyer, you're going to get $5,000 worth of relationships. You understand what I'm saying? If you pay for a lawyer that costs $1 million a year, you're going to get $1 million a year relationships. That's what Brian Steele is.